This show on Saturday.
Welcome to Dave Talks Some More, the podcast at the intersection of humor and, Hey, I'm your host, Dave, and together we'll explore a riveting world of mundane topics with unparalleled indifference. So get ready for a riveting journey through, whatever. This is Dave Talks Some More.
All right, far out. Thanks to everybody for joining us. We've moved around the broadcast time. It's Wednesday instead of Sunday. I'm not sure which I prefer, but because you get out of work a little earlier this way, and you get to watch your NFL games on Sunday afternoon. But glad to be seeing you, Sean. How you been doing? It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. I'm tired this afternoon, actually, but I'm glad to be here today. I hate we've missed a few weeks, and so there's been a lot.
There's been so much going on.
There's been so much going on.
It could be like a podcast episode, an hour a day for everything that has happened over the last week. But I feel like the only right way to start is to talk about the Charlie Kirk, what's the word? Disaster, tragedy, murder.
Definitely a murder.
Definitely a murder. Definitely an assassination. Definitely more infuriating than words will allow. And you always wonder how people are going to react. Is it going to be just another shooting? Because unfortunately, there have been lots of just another shootings, and
since Charlie was killed.
Charlie Kirk, people shooting up churches, shooting up schools, shooting up
5
other
cops
politicians.
got shot today.
Who did?
5 law enforcement officers up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, I hadn't heard this. What
serving
happened?
a warrant.
Yeah, it's hard to know where to start with it. So I guess I'll start with just the crime itself and the investigation. They had originally arrested some old fella, Michael Mallinson, who was just this old boomer dude who immediately wanted to take credit, if that's the word, for the shooting. And I don't know if he was a plant or if he was just some nut who decided that, I'll take credit on the spot in the instant right after the shooting took place. And now it turns out he had, nothing to do with the gunshot, but whether he was a plant or not, I don't know. And then, come to find out that it's some idiot kid and, originally was painted as, he's a right-wing extremist that shot Charlie Kirk, which that was kind of, I'm not sure I understand how that even makes sense. And then turns out he's living with his transgender boyfriend, and that bleeds into the whole, how come all these shootings turn out to be transgender shootings? And, we can go down that rabbit hole. And then, who's more violent? And then the discussion about, why are all these Democrats inciting violence? And there was that whole rabbit hole on X. And then what was most interesting to me was the reaction between all the people who were publicly celebrating on social media the assassination, and the FAFO was swift and continuing. And I don't even know where to start. I'll let you pick any one of those threads.
Well, obviously, everyone knows what happened. I saw the video, which was extremely gruesome. And if you don't have a stomach for it, I would tell you don't watch it. I've, as an attorney, I've seen some pretty gruesome death photos and scenes for some cases that I've been involved in over the years. And so I was okay in terms of just generally seeing it, but I don't know, it shook me to the core, honestly. And I really didn't. I knew who Charlie Kirk was. I didn't really listen to him, and so I knew he was very involved with the youth, and he was young himself. Obviously, I knew he was conservative. I've learned, and I believe as probably most of the country has learned, a lot about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, suddenly a lot of people are going back to the videos and what they didn't know about him, they're watching him now, which has made it harder to portray him in a false light. If you start sitting down and watching the debate videos yourself, nobody's going to tell you, oh, this is what he was. You see for yourself what he was.
Yeah, look, I mean, people always say, don't give me your opinion on the news, just report the facts. Look, anyone that exists out there, anybody, anyone that has an opinion on what kind of person Charlie Kirk was, good, bad, or indifferent, go watch his videos.
Watch the videos. They're entertaining, honestly.
They are entertaining, and if you're on the left, and you're left-leaning, you can watch it from the debate side of the person on the left that is debating him. And if you're on the right, you can, so it appeals to all people on the political spectrum, honestly. But if you walk away from watching his videos with any opinion that he hated others, then you're being completely mentally dishonest.
Well, I would agree with that. I think you're walking in with, that's my opinion of him, and I'm not going to let the evidence shake my opinion of that.
I'll tell you this. The thing that has made me, and I've actually, I'm not going to lie. I have at times gotten very emotional, not necessarily that I broke down and cried, but it did affect me. And here's what affected me. What affected me the most, and still affects me the most, is watching people in response to Charlie Kirk's murder that are Democrat, trans, gay, far left liberal, black, Hispanic, all of these people that the left wants to claim he hated, right? They have watched the videos. They have gotten to know Charlie Kirk through their personal interactions with Charlie Kirk. And they are out there creating these videos saying to anyone in the world, your opinion of Charlie Kirk is wrong.
Yeah, it's not true.
It's not true. There was a great video. Honestly, it made me cry listening to this gay person that was talking about having a friendship and a relationship with Charlie Kirk. He knew that Charlie Kirk didn't approve of his lifestyle, but he also knew that Charlie Kirk loved him. And they had a friendship that existed outside of the public eye. As a matter of fact, he had dinner with him and his partner had dinner with Charlie Kirk and his family. So this notion that Charlie hated gay people is not true. Now, you may not agree with his stance or opinions on the conventional marriage, and how that breaks down, because he supported, for example, that no women should work. He wasn't opposed to it, but he believed that the man's role was to be the sole provider and that the woman should be the person raising the children. So he believed in that conventional construct of a marriage, which is fine. Okay. Not everyone believes that, but Charlie didn't necessarily, I don't want to say he didn't care if you didn't believe that, but he didn't hold it against you if you didn't believe that.
Well, I think that was, and continues to be kind of the growing attraction of the guy, is what is so much missing in the public discourse is a polite give and take. And I'm not going to try to get everybody to hate you just because I think differently than you. I'll give you my reasons and my thoughts. You give me your reasons and thoughts. I'll put yours to the test. You put mine to the test. And at the end of the day, we can still shake hands and agree to disagree, or maybe convince each other, as the case may be. And that's how the debates always went. I wasn't, there was a lot that he said, a lot of opinions that he had, I thought were not mine, that I very much disagreed with. And what was unfortunate is most of the videos that I've seen is him debating college kids, which is, that's like a heavyweight fighting a bantamweight. They were completely unprepared for that fight. And it would have been interesting, for example, to see Charlie Kirk and Christopher Hitchens, the late Christopher Hitchens. Maybe they're debating in the next life.
Sure.
Because I think Hitchens would have ripped him a new one and made Charlie Kirk look as bad as Charlie Kirk made the college students look bad. But point being, never was about hate, never was about, embarrassing the other side. It was just, it's not enough for you to tell me in a discussion, this is how you feel. You got to convince me, prove me wrong.
Sure.
And I'm going to prove you wrong. And that's missing in the public discourse.
But let me say this, because I've thought about what I would say when we got to our podcast on this issue,
Sure.
assuming that it would come up. And here's the thing. The fact that we're having the discussion right now about what kind of person Charlie Kirk was or is, was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? Honestly, to me, should not be what the discussion is about. I encourage people to go find and do their own homework.
Right.
Come up with your own opinion. I don't agree with everything that Charlie Kirk said or everything that Charlie Kirk believed in. I believe and agree with a lot of things that Charlie Kirk said. There were things, certainly there was commonality. But the real issue for me is, how was this an attack on who we are, one, as a country, and two, as human beings? And
You mean the assassination? How was that an attack?
I believe that we should be discussing how this was an attack on our country, because to me, it goes to the very fabric of who the United States of America is, or what the United States of America is.
That's an interesting way to phrase it in light of what also happened in the last week, which was the gigantic British protests, largely about our free speech has been taken away. And if we post something on social media that the government doesn't like we're mad about the rape gangs, then we get arrested. We get taken away.
Sure.
And I'm sure you saw the videos.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a massive protest. Finally, and the idea that waving St. George's Cross or the Union Jack is white supremacist. It had the pendulum has finally swung the other way to sick and tired of every argument being silenced with, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a white right-wing extremist, you're this, you're that. I say all that to go back to your point of the idea of, I don't like what you say, Charlie Kirk, I'm going to shoot you.
Well, the crazy part is, and this is what, just for some reason, no liberal, left-wing Democrat or whatever that wants to claim that Trump is a fascist, that, all this blah, 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 right? That they've been saying Hitler, fascist, autocrat, dictator. The very thing that this guy did
was against that.
Was silence someone that he opposed.
Yeah.
Which is exactly,
it's kind of a Nazi-ish thing to do,
what a Nazi, autocrat, fascist dictator would do.
Yeah.
That's what it seems to be lost on everyone. And so when I say it is an attack, this shooting, this execution, this murder, however you want to phrase it, this was an attack on our country, because our country was founded on freedom. That's the very essence. and it's, well, certainly wasn't lost on me that he was wearing a shirt that said freedom, black and white. I mean, the whole imagery and the moment of the event was just so overwhelming to me, and everything that it represented at the time and represents going forward. And so what I want as an American, and I do love my country. I don't know if you've seen some of the stats that exist out there recently about like 40% of Democrats are not proud to be an American.
I did see that, and I thought,
Which is
man,
crazy
I
to me.
hope that's not right.
No,
I
it is
really
true.
Hope that's not right.
And so I'm
well,
proud.
I hope the polling. I understand that's what the poll says. I hope the poll is inaccurate.
You're right.
That would be deeply disturbing.
It is deeply disturbing if it's true. But I am proud to be an American. I believe that America is the best country in the entire world. I name another country that's better than America. I mean, sure, we have our faults. Every country does. But our faults are far less than the rest of the free world and unfree world. But I just look at all of this and I think, how do we learn and grow from this? I mean, obviously in my own life, I've taken generally every negative thing about me, and I've spent the last 37 years trying to grow from the negative aspects of my life. So I look at this event and I want to apply that same logic and reasoning where we say, okay, this murder, this execution is terrible. How do we grow from it and how do we learn from it? Well, what we should be doing is having a conversation about how do we become more civil with each other? How do we do things to protect the right of free speech rather than continue to attack each other, tear each other down, which is the exact opposite of being in the solution.
So that takes you to J.D. Vance's address, where he said what can be taken as these people, some of these people are beyond the pale, and we have no need to be civil with them. Get them fired from their jobs. The people who celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, exercising their First Amendment privilege in a reprehensible way, but still exercising their First Amendment privilege. And I understand calling their job is not impinging the First Amendment because you're not the government.
Sure.
But you want to be able to talk. I want to be able to talk. That means somebody who has disgusting opinions, you got to let them talk as well without losing their job. J.D. Vance doesn't agree.
Well,
J.D. Vance goes on national TV and
I disagree
says,
with Vance.
to hell with all of those.
I disagree with Vance, and I don't believe that Charlie Kirk would agree with Vance on that point either. Because here's the deal. I believe, as a Christian, as a human being, as a lawyer who believes in the rule of law, that murder is wrong, okay? And if
you're really going out on a limb here,
yeah, if someone celebrates murder,
mm-hmm.
I don't want any part of them in my life, right?
Fair.
I don't want that. You have the right to say that 100%. And honestly, I don't have a problem with any of these people saying what they said about Charlie Kirk.
Would you have a problem?
Hold on, let me finish. Okay. However, here's the thing. As an employer, I don't want to employ someone that wants to celebrate murder and go out there and tell people that they're glad someone is dead. I don't want that person representing my company. I don't want that person representing what it is that we market to the world. And so if I'm a university, Ole Miss fired someone. If I'm at the University of Mississippi, I don't want people believing that the University of Mississippi supports or promotes killing of individuals. And if someone that I employ at the University of Mississippi, if I'm the chancellor, says that, well, then I have a right to fire them. That's
that's a legalistic answer. And it's true, it's accurate, but that's a legalistic
I don't really think it's a legalistic answer. I mean, to me, it's, look, if you're free to do whatever you want, but there's going to be consequences from that. I mean, you have free will. These people have free will, and they have protected First Amendment rights. But your First Amendment right does not guarantee you to a job.
I didn't say, okay, you're talking about law. And
Well, what else would we be talking about?
Well, talking about inhibiting people's ability to speak their mind and say what they think.
But firing them from a job where they represent an entity, an organization, doesn't prevent them from free speech.
Oh my God. Come on, Sean. If I said you cannot express this opinion or else you're going to lose your job, don't tell me that doesn't inhibit your speech. Of course it inhibits your speech.
Okay.
In the language of the First Amendment, it has a chilling effect.
Well, let's
on
use
your
something
speech.
else. I mean, if I go out there and I say that my managing partner is a total jackass and buffoon,
that inhibits your speech.
Okay, so what? I mean, I'm still entitled to say it. It doesn't mean that I won't have consequences from that.
Well,
and so
that's kind of you're begging the question of what the debate should be about, which is, where do you draw the line on what people can say? And if what they're saying is of a purely political question, I think normally the idea is, if you want to say something political, go ahead and say it. And I respect your right to say it. I'll disagree with you, but I'm not going to try to get you fired over it. And I also thought, frankly, knowing people as I do, I think if it had been Hillary Clinton who had been assassinated, a lot of people who were offended and trying to get people fired, they'd be the same ones that are dancing and saying, yeah, she got it, and I wish she had gotten it 20 years ago. If it had been Hillary, if it had been Nancy Pelosi, if it had been some of these others, and if you can disagree if you want to, I think a lot of people that are mad about the people celebrating Kirk's murder would have been the ones themselves celebrating. It was the wrong person that got killed. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't want to say, I mean, honestly, I don't disagree with you. I think it saddens me to believe that there's that many people on the right and the left that would celebrate someone's death. But I do believe that that's true. But the fact of the matter is that I personally don't believe that. I just don't believe that firing someone because they say something that is offensive to an employer is wrong. I mean, if the flip side is true, let's go back to when George Floyd was out there, okay? If there was some dumbass that was on there making TikTok videos and going, I hate black people, and I'm glad George Floyd is dead. Let me say, and I'm glad George Floyd is dead. And they work for Walmart. Walmart should 100% fire them because Walmart, they sell to everyone on the left, on the right.
But that wasn't so much what happened. What did happen was people say, I don't have. I refuse to get into the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm not going to say anything about it one way or another. And what got shoved down people's throat was silence is complicity. Silence is agreement to police brutality. And if you don't stand up and affirmatively say that you are in favor of what we are saying, we're going to try to get you fired. And I think that was a lot of the impetus of now the shoe's on the other foot. Is a lot of people got in trouble. A lot of people got canceled. A lot of people got fired in 2020 and in years afterward. And the woke left went crazy trying to cancel people. And now that the shoe is on the other foot, I think there is a feeling of, we're going to do to, and I've seen people say it, we're going to do to you what you did to us. You got it coming. And, cry harder because
karma's a real bitch.
Karma's a bitch. You did it, whereas for the first 5 years after 4 years after 2020, it was don't cancel people for speech that you find reprehensible. And now it's cancel the hell out of people because of speech that I find reprehensible, and karma's a bitch and you had it coming. We can either go down that road and I'm going to cancel you and you're going to cancel me, which is an understandable position to take. I'm just pointing out the crossroads that we're at. We can either you cancel me and I'm going to cancel you, and both of us will feel self-righteous doing it, or one side takes the high road and says, canceling is wrong. And if you're canceling me, I won't be able to stop you sometime, but I'm just not going to use that weapon. I'm not going to do it. And could take that road. And J.D. Vance, more or less speaking for the Republican Party, said, no, we're going the eye for an eye route.
And I don't really agree with that. I mean, look, I am a product of second chances. Okay. So from a personal standpoint, I believe in second chances. As a Christian, I believe that we are supposed to, as a person, as a human being, forgive others. And I don't think forgiveness is something that's unique to Christianity, although I would say that there are a few religions that don't necessarily believe in forgiveness.
Some more than others.
Some more than others. But I would generally say that religions believe in forgiveness. And I believe that we should forgive. I'm going to use the example of the girl at Ole Miss. I don't know.
Tell the story, or do you want me to tell it?
I'll tell the story. I mean, a woman she works as a secretary for the vice chancellor at Ole Miss. She and her husband own a very popular Italian restaurant in Oxford, Tarasque, which, by the way, I love their food. Okay.
Yeah.
It's great food.
I'll second that.
Okay. Great food. And I mean, she wouldn't remember me from Adam, but I've been in there a number of times. I know who she is. I've spoken to her. She's always been very helpful. We've always had very delightful and pleasant conversations. Was I shocked?
But she did something.
Was I shocked when I saw her retweet basically saying, I have no prayers, and I'm, essentially celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder? I was shocked when I saw it. One, because I don't believe in that. Now, I can certainly understand why the University of Mississippi would want to distance themselves from her, and they did. They fired her. Do I believe that she should be forever destroyed and have their entire business destroyed because of that? Personally, I don't. I mean, I know some people that are like, I'm never going to eat there ever again.
Right.
Screw her.
For them.
If you're going to have that opinion, I don't want anything to do with you. Oh, well, you can have that opinion, but I mean, she makes some damn good food. I mean, I'm not going to lie. And so, but I personally believe in the Christian principles of forgiveness. I believe in second chances, and so has she learned from this? God, you would hope so. I mean, if not for anything, she would have learned, if you have that opinion, it's probably best to not go on a public platform
in
share
Mississippi.
that, right? I mean, know your clientele. Your clientele in Oxford, Mississippi is probably 90 to 95% conservative.
Yeah.
Okay. So 90 to 95% of your clientele is not celebrating Charlie Kirk's death.
But the university administration and the people who work at the University of Mississippi, I'm going to say is some high percentage that's the other way. I bet there's a lot more blue voters.
Yeah, but
let me
tell you what Glenn Boyce knows as chancellor of Ole Miss. He knows, as they just celebrated $1.7 billion in recent giving to their foundation or whatever, and he knows that the majority of the money that is donated to Ole Miss comes from conservatives in Mississippi.
I think that's called knowing which side your bread is buttered on.
Exactly right. But my point ultimately is, and I'm just using her as an example, to answer your question, I don't believe that her business should be canceled. Now, will it happen? That remains to be seen. I've heard that the doors are closed forever for quote unquote security purposes. I have no idea, but they do make some damn good Italian food.
Well, I came at a similar conclusion from a different direction, which I thought is, just take Charlie Kirk as an example. You got to leave a path open for people to change their minds towards you instead of demonizing everybody who disagrees with you
That's
and,
a great,
who,
that's
and
a
who
great,
has
that's a great way to say that.
disgusting ideas. There are a lot of people, you know, apparently in the last week, there were a lot of people who were against Charlie Kirk or thought they were. And a path was open to them to say, you know what, I'm going to change my mind. And I think there are a lot of people who came to the conservative viewpoint because there was a path open to them. But if you tell them you're a piece of crap and we hate you and you shouldn't have a job, if you say what J.D. Vance said, there will be no unity with these people. And you just close the door in their face and you don't leave them a path to come to you, then what are you doing? I mean, you're being the thing that you demonize. I think it's a mistake.
I don't disagree with you on that. I mean, honestly, I believe, you know, that I agree with some of the positions of, you know, Democrats that are out there saying that Trump ought to be doing things to help unify this country at this point in time.
Well, you know, the criticism that resonated the most with me is, yeah, a tragedy that this one person gets assassinated. I have a hard time understanding why the country is not as worked up over how many school kids have been shot now. And we've become almost like we expect it, like we're desensitized to it. There was that South Park episode about that. It was like, yeah, there's a school shooting. What's the big deal? You know, it happens.
But
I understand the what the hell is this? What's going on?
But I think it goes back. I think the difference is, and it goes to what I said at the beginning, which is, to me, this shooting and murder represents an attack on who we are as a country.
Yeah.
And you know, not to diminish the shooting of any child.
Well, that wasn't a free speech thing. That was not to diminish speech. That was just some crazy guy with a gun starts shooting up kids, which it amazes me we've not solved that problem. It amazes me.
Yeah,
it amazes me
I
that
saw
there's
someone,
still school shootings.
I saw someone the other day that was saying, you know, essentially, you know, that two things can be true, meaning that, you know, you can allow guns, but also restrict them in ways that help make society better. I mean, should certain individuals be given guns? No. I mean, you're never going to restrict all guns from everyone. And I mean,
not in this country.
Well, no, but
you'll
really,
never,
I mean,
never get them.
In any country, even in countries where guns aren't allowed, if you want a
Right.
gun, you can get a gun. I mean, so that's kind of silly to say that, oh, no one's going to ever get a gun. You can, that's just not, that's not realistic. But can you make it more difficult for people that shouldn't have weapons? Yes. I do believe, honestly, and one of the things that I've seen is kind of an underlying issue that's been matriculating through all of this is, what are we doing as a country, as a state or states, about treating mentally ill individuals? You know, we don't lock them up
We're not allowed
anymore.
to. We're not allowed to treat them.
Right.
Thank you, United States Supreme Court. That was a genius decision.
Right. And that's a problem that needs to be corrected, in my opinion. And look, I have a friend that I know, and I've known him for an extremely long time. He is schizophrenic, okay? And he sometimes over the years he's on his meds and sometimes he is not.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see him, I know when he is.
You can see it in their eyes,
and I
can't you,
know
Sean?
when he is not.
Yes,
okay?
you can see it in their eyes.
And here's the crazy thing. As crazy as he knows when he is on them
Right.
and when he is not on them.
Yep.
But what general people don't seem to understand is this. People with mental health issues such as, you know, it's not just schizophrenics, people that are bipolar, you know, manic depressive, they don't like the meds because it completely dulls their emotional state.
Right, like they're wrapped in cellophane.
And when they get off of the meds, it's like this natural euphoric high that comes not from taking any drugs,
but having it out of their system. They can finally feel their feels.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so one of the reasons, okay, maybe they don't have the money to pay for their medication, which is a big problem. And that's one of the reasons why they don't take them. But another reason why they don't take them is because, they don't want to take them. Not because they're trying to go around and be crazy, and so now what happens when you have people with serious mental health issues not taking their medication? Well, there's a reason why we see so many homeless people living on the streets and encampments all across the country. And, to me, if you're willing to go kill someone and do the things such as, that we've seen lately, not just the Charlie Kirk murder, but we've seen a lot of mass murder individuals that honestly appear to be mentally deranged in some way.
Could have been kept in some Whitfield type institution
in the past,
would have in 1967 and earlier.
Right. And so, that's part, and I'm not saying that's the total solution here. I'm just saying that's part of the solution that we should be working towards as a civilized society. And we're not. Should we also, on the same token, be doing things to make it? I've never understood. I love guns, okay? I have a bunch of guns.
I know you do.
I love to shoot. But I have honestly never understood why I need a semi-automatic with the ability to make it automatic assault rifle for hunting. Come on. I have a 30-06 bolt action. I've got a long gun that's a bolt action.
I think Sigmund Freud had a lot to say about guns and what they represented in some people's minds.
Look, we're not giving people Sidewinder missiles to carry around in their pocket.
For a reason.
You don't have bazookas that you can go out and purchase. Why is that? Because they can cause a lot of destruction, and you're not capable and competent to handle those.
And yet you're in favor of freedom. Sean, shame on you. We need to be able to buy tanks. If you have the money to buy a tank, you should be able to buy a tank.
I have never really gotten the rights, the slippery slope argument on, the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
You can have limitations on there. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
I don't know. To change the subject completely, I know one person that really ought to be celebrating the upheaval in the news, but I will not forget. Philly's Karen suddenly gets pushed off the front page, but she's not pushed off of my front page, and we still haven't found out who she is. If you don't know who Philly's Karen is, it's a Philadelphia Phillies baseball game. A home run gets hit into left field bleachers. A guy who turns out to be a dad taking his son on his birthday to a Phillies game runs over and picks up the home run ball, which is at the feet of some Karen woman. And she is a Karen out of Central Casting, man. She's got the short hair. She's got the angry look.
That whole story just really, something about the whole thing.
So he gets the baseball. He goes over to his kid. He gives the kid the home run
have
baseball.
A legitimate claim to it either.
She never has her hand on the ball. And she comes down there and she gives this guy the what for so bad that he reaches into the kid's glove, takes the ball out and gives it to her just so that she will go away.
Now, first of all, you're leaving out the most important part. And that is the dad in the video, looks like,
oh, he looks like this has happened to him before.
He is he has this frightened look like,
yeah. Well, he's getting hell for being a beta male instead of an alpha male.
Dude.
Because, she's leaning over on him. And of course, remember, This
You know
is
what?
Philadelphia.
You know
There
what
are
I
a
would
lot
have
of
said to
guys.
that woman if
would-
she came over to me?
yes.
I'd have said, "Hey, lady."
Yeah, there are a lot. There are in Philadelphia, in the bleachers, there are a lot of guys who would have convinced her to go away by means fair or foul, and so this guy's getting. First of all, he gets hell from her. Then he's getting hell from the general public for letting her get away
But
with it.
the good part of the whole story is the kid. I mean, the kid scored.
Yeah. The Phillies did the right thing. They
He
bring
got a
him.
signed
Yeah,
bat,
they
he got
took care
signed
of him. They
balls. He
absolutely
got
took
to
care of him.
meet people. He got his 15 minutes of fame.
But so far as I can tell, the internet still has not found Philly's Karen, and we all want to know, because if anyone does deserve, this wasn't free speech. That was just a witch on a broomstick that deserves.
See, actions have consequences.
Yes.
If you are stupid enough to go out on the
coming.
interweb and say some really gross, detestable
Bad things can happen.
Well, you can be fired.
And bad things can happen, but they don't always happen. For example, suppose you're ranked in the top 10 and you lose the first 2 football games of the season.
This is
should that action
honestly,
have a consequence?
We're 40 minutes into our
This
podcast,
is the rest of the show.
and honestly,
is how in the hell is Notre Dame still ranked 0-2, haven't won a game yet?
I wanted to talk about college football more than anything else because, I mean, what an obscenity. What a fucking joke. The Associated Press poll is.
My God, I think
did the coaches poll leave them in there
yes,
too? Both of them did.
Number 23 and number 24.
21 and 24.
My feeling is
terrible.
Notre Dame just needs to lose 3 more games and they'll win the national championship.
Here's the thing: they play Arkansas not this weekend.
They play no ranked teams for the rest of their schedule.
But they play
except
Arkansas
USC.
next week. My prediction is Arkansas beats them.
Oh my God, I never thought I'd pull for Arkansas, but you've talked me into it.
Look.
Arkansas played Ole Miss.
Did you
hard.
watch the game?
Yes.
Okay,
I was flipping back and forth between that and the LSU game.
I know they didn't play great teams in the first 2 games, but Arkansas has a really good offense, and they've got a great quarterback. And some people, not me, some people have been saying all season long that their quarterback is a sleeper candidate for the best quarterback in the SEC. I mean, the guy really is talented. He can throw, he can run.
Not like Florida's quarterback. He has a talent that I haven't seen in a long time. 5 interceptions, because that was the other game that I was watching. While I was watching Ole Miss trying to fumble or defumble the game away to Arkansas after a razor-thin victory over Kentucky. Ole Miss has got and they're 2-0 in the SEC, but I'm not feeling the feels for Ole Miss. But I'm really not feeling the feels for Florida.
Well, you can't be feeling the feels for LSU because
not
their
that
offense is not good.
Their offensive line was a question mark before the season began, and 3 games in, still a question mark.
Look, your defense is great.
Defense is damn near NFL caliber.
They're great, no question about it. The offense, not so much. Ole Miss's offense is great. Their defense, not so much. So it's going to be interesting when Ole Miss and LSU
2
play.
weeks from now, well, I guess, 10 days from today, it's already been announced it's going to be a 2:30 game. Ole Miss hosting LSU.
So do you know why that is?
Why it's a 2:30 game?
I was pissed, that we didn't get the night game.
Oh, there's a reason for it? I don't know. Yeah, I was pissed too, but I didn't know there was a reason.
There's a reason. And
what's the reason?
All right. So obviously, for those who don't know, there's been a change in the television contract. Okay. It used to, CBS had it and they lost it. Now ABC, Disney, they have it all for the SEC. And
ESPN.
so it used to be ESPN and CBS. Well, under the old deal, CBS got
first
pick in the game of the day. The 2:30 game was for the 2 highest ranked teams.
Right.
Okay. Which next week will be, knock on wood, will be Ole Miss and LSU. Because,
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, will be Ole Miss and LSU because Ole Miss is ranked higher than Alabama and LSU is ranked higher than Georgia, right?
Right.
So under last year's format, Ole Miss and LSU would 100% be the Saturday 2:30 CBS game. Well, now we're going to be the ABC 2:30 game, but under the new television contract.
It's the second tier game.
They have the option to take the top ranked game at night or in the day. And so it's not based on necessarily your ranking. It's based honestly on viewership and the ability to sell eyes.
Yeah, on eyeballs. That's all it's based on.
And so Georgia and Alabama are going to get the nod, and Ole Miss, LSU.
Where are they playing that?
They are, I think they're at Alabama.
That could be an interesting game. Of course, the last 2:30 game was Georgia, Tennessee.
Ooh, that was a shootout.
And my algorithm knows that I want to see Tennessee fans celebrating because they kicked the field goal, the winning field goal, as time expired, but you can't really see the ball going. It seems like it goes through the uprights and they're celebrating. And then there's that moment of, wait, what? And it reminds me of the Bluegrass Miracle when LSU, the play where LSU gets like a 70-yard touchdown pass that goes through a couple of hands, and then our guy catches it and runs the end zone.
Sure.
On the as you're watching it on your TV screen on the left-hand side, LSU scoring the game-winning touchdown as time expires. But on the right-hand side of your TV screen is the other end zone where all the Kentucky fans are running onto the field because they won the game and they beat LSU, which had won the national championship the year before. This game was in 2008, and LSU had won 2007. And they all are rushing the field, and there's countless videos of those Kentucky fans in 2008 when they have this, wait, what? What's going on with that scoreboard, man? What do you mean we lost? And it's the same way my algorithm's feeding me all these Tennessee fans, and they're having this, whoa, wait a minute, what? He didn't make it. And it is hilarious. You have to feel for the kid.
Yeah, maybe not.
Well, you heard what he did. I mean, have you heard this story about what the kid did? The kicker?
For Tennessee?
Yeah.
That missed the kick.
Yeah, that missed the kick, that immediately comes out after the game and stands up in front of the cameras and takes his beating. And then a real gutsy thing is he said, I'm going to be on this field or on our practice field, and it's going to be open. I'm going to be there at 6 o'clock practicing because basically I need it. And anybody who wants to come out and tell me what a piece of crap I am and try to make me feel worse than I already feel, you're invited. Come and see me practice and see me bleeding in my soul. And sure enough, there were people that came out Sunday morning and, because they're Tennessee fans, so of course they're going to do that. But he's kind of turned into the team mascot of
tough guy.
Well, not the tough guy, but the kid's got as big of a heart as anybody. He hurts more than anybody. And if you're taking it out on him, you're a piece of crap.
Look, I've always thought taking it out on kickers that miss a kick, it's stupid because the entire game doesn't. Yes, it may come down to just the kicker, but you win and lose the game as a team,
right?
And so I've
for example, maybe you lose the game when you let Georgia score down by 8 on 4th and 8. When you let the guy catch the ball, the most beautiful pass you could ask for. Maybe they shouldn't have let that happen.
Well,
maybe they should have prevented the 2-point conversion. That.
It's like, okay, so in the Ole Miss Arkansas game, for example, Ole Miss fans were pissed about 2 calls that stripped 2 touchdowns back to back. So what do? they score
They score a
on
touchdown.
the third time.
Take
Again.
that one back, buddy.
Right.
Yeah,
So
right.
and they took matters into their own hands, and they did what they needed to.
Yeah.
Earlier in the game, like the first touchdown that Arkansas scores on a 3rd and long, there's a blatant false start. The left tackle totally comes out of his, stance. I mean, clearly offsides, and they don't call
Big
it.
old no call.
Of course, we don't cover the guy.
Yeah.
And he goes right down the middle. He hits a hole in the zone, and he scores. Okay, so yes, we're pissed. My son was pissed. I was like, Parker, I mean, we didn't defend the guy, first of all.
Yeah.
I mean, so, the
gonna
guy, the
blame
fact
the
that
ref
he was
for that, too?
offsides really wasn't
Yeah.
on us. We need to let that go. I mean, there's bad calls in every game. My point is this. So Ole Miss scores at one point on what some people are saying is a pick from a receiver, blocking the defender from covering the guy. The guy scores. It wasn't called. And so all these Arkansas people have been, blowing up the internet. Ole Miss shouldn't have won. We got robbed. It's much like all of the Notre Dame guys upset about
the Notre Dame no
call.
call.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
The no call on that. We'll come back to that in a minute because that deserves some time all in of its own. But I responded to a guy and I was like, dude, are you seriously whining and complaining about a pick when your entire first touchdown should have been negated?
Right.
And to his credit, he responded to me on Twitter and he said, yeah, I did talk about that earlier. So,
but it's too late. I'm getting you fired.
Right. I mean, but yes, I mean, bad calls happen in every game. And so my point ultimately is a kicker doesn't lose the game. One bad call doesn't lose the game. You have to look at it in its totality. And so anyway, on to the point at hand. Did Notre Dame lose that game?
Oh, my God.
Did they lose that game because they didn't call that one holding on that play?
Well, they didn't win it because the refs didn't call holding on that one. And for those who didn't see it, this was basically the nightcap game, even after the 6:30 games. Notre Dame is
they're up by 6.
Up by 6. A&M
because they had missed a field goal, by the way.
Yeah, missed an extra point.
Extra point.
Yeah, missed an extra point. A&M is driving it, and I mean it's a harem-scarum drive. I mean, I didn't think they were going to get there, but they get in classic bottom of the ninth type situation.
I wasn't too impressed with Marcel Reed on that drive.
I wasn't.
I mean, he had the ability to scramble, but man, he threw some terrible passes.
He did, but anyway, they get there. It's 4th down. They got to have it, and quarterback rolls out to his left, finds a guy in the end zone, scores the winning touchdown. The replays show the left guard just at as much of a takedown as you'll ever see.
I thought it was the right guard. But anyway, it doesn't matter. One of the offensive linemen
offensive line totally takes down. I mean, it's beyond holding. It's tackling a defensive lineman.
He had been beat and basically wrapped him up, and in the process he tackled
and took him down.
Of course, it wasn't called.
And the Irish are
in the touchdowns
because Notre Dame's never had a call go their way
right
in the history of Notre Dame football.
But to my point, had the guy made the extra point, you don't lose the game.
You wouldn't be there.
You're going into overtime, right? I mean, so you just can't. I don't know. You can. I think it's wrong to say every game boils down to one
If you're going to make fun of a college football player, it's got to be Nico Imaliva, lately from Tennessee.
I don't even know how to pronounce that guy's name.
Imaliva, because it has to be pronounced that way. For those who don't know the story about Nico Imaliva, Tennessee, at the end of last season, as soon as Tennessee's season was over, said, I'm going to leave Tennessee unless y'all pay me a whole lot more money than you're paying now. And Tennessee, to their credit, said, well, then you're a leaver, get out. And so he goes and goes into the portal, signs with UCLA, but for less money than he was originally making at Tennessee.
Because when he went out there, he found out that the free market
didn't
value him the way he valued himself.
Yeah, so should have stayed put where he was. That's not the end of the Imaliva saga. because last time that we saw him was with UCLA, with him at the controls, now going 0-3.
They are really bad, by the way.
2 weeks ago, get punked by UNLV, University of Las Vegas, coached by University of Nevada, Las Vegas, coached by your friend, Dan Mullen, who's actually putting together a good program at UNLV. And then last week, like the University of Phoenix online beat the hell out of UCLA
have you
at
seen the
UCLA.
numbers of people that go to
That's
UCLA
the next
games?
thing I was going to say is, and
Nobody goes.
And what's circulating is this beautiful stadium in Brentwood or wherever it is, and there is nobody there for what used to be proudly called the Pac-10 and then the Pac-12.
More people go to the Rock in Hattiesburg
to
watch a game than
the University of Los
in the
Angeles
Coliseum.
in Los Angeles. So I mean, if you must hate a player, Nico, I'm Aliva, you Aliva, get the hell out of town, Aliva. It is a glorious thing to behold. I don't want to miss Billy Napier is going through the halls of hell right now. It's bad enough to lose to South Florida.
I didn't realize that they had renegotiated his buyout and contract at the end of last season.
Yeah, clever. Let me give you.
I did, however, hear some interesting news about the buyout for Alabama's coach.
DeBoer.
Yes.
Yeah, with Kalen DeBoer, named after a stripper, apparently.
Supposedly, they have a provision. His buyout would be like, I don't know, 60-something
Oh,
million.
yeah, it's a crazy
number. However, if he loses one non-con and 4 conference games, it's like 25% of that.
Oh, the dream.
So, yeah.
If those players know what's good for them, they're going to start throwing some games. They may not need to throw. They may legitimately compete and lose.
If he is really on the hot seat, what he ought to do is just to really fuck with Alabama. He ought to just go and lose 3 SEC games and 1 non-con.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he's
already lost the non-con to Florida State. Yeah, well, he, legit shot at losing the Georgia game, wherever that is. That's totally legit. I'd like to think totally legit lose to LSU. I don't know if Alabama. I think Alabama does play Ole Miss this year. Does not.
Ole Miss does not play.
Well, surely they play Auburn. I have no idea what Auburn is this year. But I don't want to get off of Napier. Let me give you a couple of records. First 40 games.
No,
first 41 games, Napier is 20-21. Dan Mullins, guy that got fired because he sucked at Florida.
I like the fact that you put an S on it.
It is Dan Mullins, isn't it?
No, it's Mullen.
Yeah, Dan Mullins at Florida.
But the state people hate the S.
Well, there you go. That's reason enough.
It's reason enough. Here's the thing. They probably still hate the S, even to this day, disrespected me.
Well, Dan Mullins, Napier 20-21. Dan Mullins, his first 40 games, 31-9. But he's got to go. Will Muschamp, 24-16. Napier's sitting at 20-21, and he's running this gauntlet of having to play top 10 teams. And I mean, Florida's just praying for a miracle, or else they're going to be out of bowl contention before they get to the month of November. And Napier's just sitting there going, what do you expect me to do? I got a guy who throws 5 picks in a game. And loses to South Florida too. What do you expect me to do with this?
Well, look, I mean, last year Ole Miss went and picked off 2 of their, top players.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
like rats from a sinking ship.
Outbid
Florida.
them. Yeah. And it wasn't just Ole Miss. I mean, there were many schools that went and poached all their players. And so
here's my college football question for September. How good is Mississippi State? Are you buying it? I mean, they beat ASU, kind of a miracle play at the end, but I mean, they were up 17-0 in the first half.
Honestly, I know the State people are going to hate me, and they're going to say it's because I'm biased. I'm an Ole Miss guy. But I do not believe that Arizona State is a good team. I think Arizona State is extremely overrated.
Well, that's kind of how we're starting to feel about our victory against Clemson.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
Clemson looks
am I
bad.
really proud of that win?
Not really.
Not as much as I used to be before Georgia Tech beat them Saturday.
Yes. Yeah, boy, that was a great win from Georgia
It was
Tech.
a great win for Tech, and I saw the last few minutes of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure as an LSU fan, you were pulling for, going,
I
come on, Clemson.
I could not pull for Clemson, but I was kind of scratching my head going, that ain't helping the old Tigers at all.
Look, do I think State is improved 100%?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
And do they have a better understanding of the system of offense that Levy has installed? No question about it. Were they able to pick up some players and fill in some gaps and holes? Yes. However, having said that, they are going to give up a lot of points with their defense.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the thing about State is they have an improved offense. And they played inspired at the beginning of that game because there was so much. You remember they were all mad and butthurt about Arizona State.
Yeah, I mean,
and of course,
I didn't talk to any Bulldog people who were not totally geeked out for that. I mean, they were.
Do you know the NCAA doesn't have a rule on noisemakers?
Yeah,
and so
those legal cowbells.
All the SEC people were incorrectly going, "Oh, they can't be ringing the cowbells when they're snapping the ball."
Yeah, go for it.
Actually, they can when they're playing a non-con. And so, did they abuse that right during that game? 100%.
But for a team that's been so abused lately.
Do you know, I talked to a friend of mine who was like, oh, he's a big State guy. He was like, oh yeah, we wear earplugs.
Yeah,
because I'm like,
I get it.
How can you sit in there and listen to that? I couldn't.
Well,
but
I'm hoping that.
Have you looked at their schedule?
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm wanting to believe
they're
that
going
Levy's
to win this
the right
weekend.
guy. I want him to win. I want him to do
They're
well.
going to be 4-0.
It's going to be tough.
They may not win another game.
God, I'm hoping for them. I really am.
I think
Thoughts and prayers.
I think their over/under for SEC wins will be 1 game.
Well, that's our closing credit. Well, come on, State. You can do it. Thanks to everybody who joined us. Appreciate y'all sticking with us on the schedule change, and we'll see you the next time.
All right.